Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is our 3-year update on our 2004 Key West 1720. If you didn't see our last video when we did the complete overhaul with the engine, upholstery, complete rewire, stereo, all that good stuff, go check it out. This is an update on that. The engine is a 2022 Mercury 115 PROXS command thrust. I currently have 132 hours on the boat, and about 100 of those hours were put on in 2024 alone. We had a wonderful fun year boating in 2024. I was a captain for my niece and nephew for the high school bass fishing team, and we went to Lake Seminole, which I'll hopefully never have to go there again in my life. And then we went to West Point Lake, Lake Oconee, and then also Lake Hartwell. June time frame, we went up to the Key West boat meet that they have each year on Lake Marion. We came back, and the following weekend in June, right after that, we went to Lake George down in Florida and fished on the St. Johns River, fished on the lake, mostly just for the kids to mess around with some brim and red breast and stuff like that. Went over to the spring, had a great time. And then we went on a 3-week camping trip where we left here from Savannah, went up to Lake Wiley on the North Carolina-South Carolina border, went over to Lake Douglas over near and stayed at Dandridge, Tennessee. And then we came back kind of close to home at Hilton Head Harbor, camped there for another week, and then went down to Fort McAllister and camped there again for another week over 4th of July. Last year we put over 3,600 miles on the trailer alone, and it's a 2004 model trailer, so this year we're going to have to put a new axle on it under some point. Redid the bearings a couple of years ago, had a race seize on me after the first trip with the boat with a new engine up in Clarks Hill, and the bearings are about done now too, so we're going to try to put a new axle under it this year and really just drive the boat quite a bit here in 2025 and go fishing. I've got a inshore saltwater fishing tournament next weekend. It should be pretty fun. That'll be my first inshore tournament. I've used the, as you can see behind me, quite a bit happened to the boat, and we've got LiveScope on it now. Used it one time in saltwater. Doesn't work really well in down mode, but in perspective mode, it works quite well. So just like last time, I'll do a walk around on the outside of the boat. I'll go inside and show you quite a bit what we've added. My wife just kind of walked off a little bit, so I can tell you it's been about another 10,000 on the boat since the last update. LiveScope, you see the front seat, all that good stuff. But we'll get around, walk around the boat, and show you some more ideas, something that you can do. And I just love these little 1720s. It's a purpose-built boat now. I can fish anywhere inshore. And actually in 2023, we went down to the Keys for the Lobster Mini. We did not have any luck at all with lobster, but we went trolling about 10 miles off with this little boat and caught a wahoo about, I can't even guess the weight of it, but it was about shoulder height on me. I'll attach a picture here. And it was a good time. So the boat can do anything. I love it. It's probably one of the most, if not the most, popular hull out of all the 17-foot boats that I've seen around. Alright, just starting at the front of the boat, just added a breakaway tongues in case I ever need a little bit extra space. I did a complete rewire on the boat as well. Added the spare tire and wheel up front, mount. I got it from Amazon. It's pretty generic. We added some LED navigation lights. I did have my strap break on me when I went to the Keys a couple of years ago, so these extra chains that we have hooked to the bow, definitely make sure you have it on there, or I would have lost the boat, because we didn't know it for probably half the trip. We added the pinstriping. I got this directly from a Key West dealer in Beaufort. It was like 75 bucks for a roll that did both sides and probably had another 10-15 feet left over. When I was on the fishing team this year, going to all the docks and stuff like that, having to park and wait and all that, this thing got knocked off 3 times last year. It's a quick, easy fix. It just screws into a breather vent inside. So if you ever have this break off, it's really quick. It's like 20 bucks on Amazon, so just keep that in mind. We added some Key West foam. I got these off of eBay. The poles were probably another 2 foot taller. I cut them down just to give me just enough for that. So I like how clean it is. It's not super tall. Added this motor stabilizer while we're going on the road. It's made by DD26. It's extremely beefy. It is expensive, but it'll prolong the life of the transom. Since I was part of the bass fishing team this year, which I normally don't do, it's inshore, I added this oxygenator from TH Marine. It took 2 people to install it because there's just really no room behind there. It's got a rubber gasket, about a 1/2 inch hole for the wires to go through, but it is possible to do it. I wouldn't mount it any farther forward. If you could, I would mount it a little bit further back just to give you some make it a little bit easier, but other than that, it was pretty simple. Also from TH Marine here, the little nozzle, I don't have it on me right now, but I don't have a washdown pump, but I did get the hose connection for this. So this just unscrews, and you just put the hose on and turn on your livewell pump, and it'll rinse the deck off. It's not gonna, you know, take your paint off or anything like that. It don't have a lot of pressure, but I added that. And I also have a new drain tube here. It was made by a 1720 member on the Facebook group. It's got a much bigger OD for the water to get out quicker, so your live well's not overflowing. But it worked out pretty good. Coming around back here, I'm running a 21 pitch Mercury Tempest, and I'm still hitting around 6,450 on the RPM, so I could probably go up to a 22 or maybe get this one reworked, but I'm not really worried about it too much right now. These Bennett bolt trim tabs, I put these on in 2022, in like the summer of 22, and my wife was like, that was the biggest waste of money ever. And then she went out one time, we were on Lake Moultrie for a Key West meet, and it was kind of choppy, a little windy, and I trimmed I put the tabs down, got the bow of the boat to kind of go into the chop a little bit more, and man, it's just not, it helps the boat not slap the bottom or slap the top of the wakes or waves. So I love these. These are the electric Bennett bolts. And we also added a Shadowcaster underwater light. It is just Bimini blue, I think is the color of it. The only issue that we've had so far, and it's not even really an issue, but the jack plates, no issues with the jack plate, but the relays for them, the mounts, I guess just are not stainless, they're steel. So as you can see, the mounts for the relays for the jack plate, they rusted off completely, but eventually I'll get that replaced, or maybe some kind of composite mount, 3D printed or something. And last time I told you I've got a 3-bank no-code charger under the console there, and it charges the 2 trolling motor batteries and then 1 of these batteries. Well, I was getting to where I was, you know, the stereo eats up so much battery power that I needed another charger. So I put this no-code single bank charger in here, and then I plug it in to a splitter, and then, you know, they all get plugged in at once, and it charges this extra battery here. We also added this I think it's a 6 or 8 foot stick-it anchor. Comes in handy a couple times. In the other video that you may have seen where I was at Lake George, where the boat was parked at in the spring area, this is what we had for the second anchor, and I was surprised because that current in there was ripping, and I did not bring my dedicated second anchor that I normally have. And these are just some cheap plastic rod holders. When we were on the bass fishing this year, you know, the boat only has the 2 rod holders on the side of the console, and that's not enough room evidently for freshwater guys bass fishing. So added this, it gave us 6 extra rod holders on the boat, and got it nice and flush with the top, so it works out pretty good back here. Just like every other boat, you go through taillights every couple years. So we put new taillights on here. What I also did under the main bottom bunk, I have 2 LED strips that I have wired into the reverse that's on the truck. So when I have the truck in reverse, 2 lights light up underneath the entire bunk. So when I'm backing the boat in, either early in the morning or late at night, and I can't find the bunks well, the lights, as long as I have the truck in reverse, it will illuminate the water and kind of make everything nice and easy to see. Added several more lights to the trailer, front and back, all over the place. This trailer is now 21 years old, and this year we definitely have to put an axle under it. It's got the original axle, at least I believe it's the original axle, and it's starting to get real rusted on the ends. It is galvanized, but nothing lasts forever in salt water. So here at the console, I added in the Bennett bolt LED indicator for the trim tabs, so I can see where the tabs are at all times. And it's got the all up and all down button. It comes in handy quite a bit. And from the last video, I added a Garmin VHF, and then little tackle webs, the kind of storage bag that I use to hold my remote for my trolling motor. This is a UPD tinted windshield. It fits absolutely perfect. So if you're looking for one of those, they are expensive and they have a long lead time, but it looks so much better than the hazed windshield that I had before. So we know this front seat area, or the front seat, is usually, you can use it as a cooler. It's got the drain on the side, you know, but when we were bass fishing this year, I needed a second dedicated live well just in case the fish were too big for the back live well, and you can keep a maximum of 5, you know, and we might have culled some from here and there, but anytime we had a really hefty large one, I would put them up here and this now live well to keep them away from the others, just to kind of help them live longer. So as you can see the air stone and the tube. I ran the tube through the hole, got a little rubber grommet on it, and I've got a onboard Mr. Bubbles that I have wired to one of my switches right here, one of the accessory ones. I can't remember, there's so many dang accessories on this boat. But I actually have it screwed to the back of the front backrest on the boat, but I'll see if I can get a video of it up in here. You can see that Mr. Bubbles box, that's it right there. I just put a plug in the side of the now live well, put a plug in it. I fill it up with water. It does not recirculate, but it does use the same water, but it's enough to maybe keep some bait in there, or, you know, 1 or 2 fish you're trying to keep alive. But it works good. It's completely sealed, so I don't have to worry about water getting up into the console or around the console, around the lid. So that's a pretty cheap mod, so not too bad. All right, so as you can see up front, I added a swivel seat, added a mount, and an adjustable pole for this, and the cushions match my other upholstery, so it all worked out pretty well. I don't keep this on when I'm going down the road. I only have it on if I plan on being lazy and fishing that day, just by sitting down. But the boys love it, and they love to sit up here and brim fish. So as you can see up front, we've got our Garmin Ultra 102 SV, I think it was. It's a 10-inch Chartplotter, but I only use it really for the LiveScope. When I come back out here on the outside of the boat, I'll put the camera back on the tripod and I'm going to show you how I set everything up. But the Chartplotter, that comes off, that stays in the truck until I get to the boat ramp, and then the mount right there, the silver mount from Fishing Specialties, I'll keep that in the truck until I get to the boat ramp as well. So got the same Minn Kota power drive, but like in the last video, they make the iPilot kits for these. Mine was not an iPilot, it was a co-pilot, but I have now added the iPilot sensors in there, and now I have spot lock, so it works out quite well. In the front hatch area, we've got a Boat Outfitters fire extinguisher mount. I had that last time, but I don't know if I mentioned it or not. Here's the black box for the LiveScope, the on-off battery for the Ionic lithium battery, and I have another NOCO charger in here that charges just this battery, and I can plug them all in at the same time. This NOCO, the other single NOCO, and the 3-bank NOCO. And this little tackle webs thing right here is coming in handy, but the glue is starting to come off. But it's been on for 2 years now, and that's about it. So maybe I can get some more glue and try to glue it back. The battery is Bluetooth, so I can check the percentage on my phone, and it's pretty cool. Still got a fair amount of storage in here. And people were asking last time how far the speakers stick out. Sub sticks out the furthest, but you don't really lose a whole lot of room. Alright, so I'm going to show you how the LiveScope is set up on this boat. Again, the boat's a 2004 1720. This mount right here, this little square mount. It was a little scary cutting that big of a hole in the front of the boat, but this little square mount is from Fishing Specialties. That's also who the transducer pole is made by. But anyway, so this is how it is when the boat's going down the road. Just this mount that I've got, that I made at home for the Chartplotter. That stays also mounted to the boat. So when I get to the boat ramp, I'll put my mount on. This is the mount for the transducer pole. I had to put a notch in it right here so that I didn't have to keep it on at all times. And you see the company right there, but they provide you with a bunch of these plastic screws, and you thread 2 of them in opposite corners. And you just put it up here like this. You thread in the 2 plastic screws, and they're plastic. And the reason being is when this pole is in the water and I hit an oyster bed or a stump or something, those plastic screws need to be able to break this top mount off so that this bottom mount that I've got 4 big 1/4-inch stainless screws in does not rip a new hole in the top of the boat. So anyways, once you have that in, I would then take my Chartplotter, the Garmin, that stays mounted on this pole, and I put the pole here into the base for the mount, just like that. Then I have this pin that is lanyard to this mount. It goes through the hole here in the base. I've got another hole drilled in this pole, and that way it keeps the pole from coming out of the base when I'm going on the water. We put this on for Lake Hartwell. It's been to Lake Marion, Lake Wiley, Lake George, Douglas Lake, all the saltwater areas around here. I have never had this come off. So, and you know, in saltwater it's usually pretty much stronger waves and such, so haven't had it break off. So anyways, once you get to your spot, this is already set up, this is already set up. Go up there, turn your Chartplotter on, and all you do is pull the pole off of these 2 mounts here. It's got a tapered collar right here in the middle, and you can adjust it to wherever you want your depth at. But and it's got a little black plastic knob that goes over top to keep the collar in, so this doesn't jump out if you were to hit something. And now I can use the LiveScope. I can point it all the way to the port side, underneath the boat, and or anywhere. I got a 360-degree view basically with it set up like this. I did not put it on the trolling motor because in saltwater or anywhere with a current, if I have the trolling motor spot locked, I can only see the LiveScope in that position. So in doing this, I can now spot lock anywhere I want to spot lock, and then I can also look anywhere I want to look with the LiveScope. I usually use perspective mode in anything less than about 8 feet of water. And I tell you what, perspective mode it's insane. Down forward mode is pretty cool, and down mode, but perspective mode is really neat with LiveScope. It's cheating almost. You can see fish literally swimming in and out of beds, you know, brim for example, while we were down in Lake George. But so this is the setup. And when I get ready to go to another spot, I just pull this little collar back, pick up on the mount, set it back in these jaws. I just turn it down to where the handle is on the top of the boat. Lock these in, I'm good to go. The Chartplotter still stays right there. I don't take that down until I get ready to get back to the boat ramp, but that's how the LiveScopes ran. The wires basically just run for the transducer, and the Chartplotter, they run down into the front hatch of the boat where I've got the battery at, the battery switch, and the black box for the LiveScope. But that's it. That's how I have it set up right here. It might not be for everybody, but it works for us. I can take all this off, even the trolling motors on a quick connect. I can take these three things off here. The only thing I can't take off is this without having to pull the wire back all the way through, and that making the channel going down the hole and into the front hatch was kind of a pain. So I just leave this on at all times. It stays on, but I've never had this come off, and we probably put about 2,000 miles on the boat with this here. So since we didn't get this till about April of last year, but that's about how I have the LiveScope set up. But again, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope I can answer any questions that you might have. Ask away. I keep my notifications on now. Previously in the years, even with my other video with Overhaul, I had to make it with GoPro Quick app, and it's a pain going through hours of footage on a phone trying to do that. So now I have Adobe Premiere Pro. I can start creating some more videos, and I really hope that I can help you guys or the community as much as possible with these boats. I love these boats, and I hope everybody gets a chance to go out and have some fun this summer. Thanks.